agrees with me on this, according to the psalm. Verse 5, the mountains melt like wax before the Lord of all the earth. That is a constructive parallelism there, where it says before the Lord and then before the Lord of all the earth. It's a parallelism. You see that in the repetition of the words before the Lord. The second part, adding the phrase of all the earth, shows that this Lord is not just somebody's Lord. He is the Lord of all the earth. It's constructive because it builds upon something that was previously stated. It has been stated before the Lord. Now it's being stated that he is the Lord of all the earth. His rule, his reign, goes beyond that of the people who are covenanted to him. And then the mountains melt like wax. What greater thing is there in creation than a mountain? And by greater, I don't mean better, of more value, or beautiful. I just mean in size, in mass, in volume. There's no singular aspect of creation. You take earth and you break it down to find all its different aspects. In the ancient world specifically, before we learned about like plate tectonics, and possibly even before the continents were known, we see that a mountain would be the number one big thing in the world. There's nothing bigger than a mountain. And even that melts like wax before this God. How powerful must he be that a mountain doesn't move, doesn't tremble and quake and crumble before him. It melts like wax. How great of a picture that bestows in our mind. A mountain just melting before the presence of Yahweh. Verse 6, the heavens proclaim his righteousness, and all the peoples see his glory. Again, peoples, this is the entirety of the earth. His reign is not just over Israel. It reaches much further than that. And the heavens proclaim his righteousness. So now we're moving away from just earth and the ground. We're looking outwards in creation to what extends beyond what us mere mortals can touch. The heavens, which are unattainable even for us, they are proclaiming the righteousness of Yahweh. Again, it's just expounding the virtue of this reign. Not only is it powerful and mighty, something that a mortal would fear, but it is also inherently good. And that is seen clearly by the entire world in creation. This is proclaimed, it's not whispered. And all the peoples see his glory. The glory of God, the thing that makes him worshipable, the thing that makes him worthy of praise, the splendor that he holds, is in his righteousness. It's the very fact that he is good. That is what brings mortals and all lesser beings, as we're about to see, down on their knees, on their faces, prone before him, is the fact that he is good. Not the fact that he is strong, not the fact that he has authority over all of creation, but the fact that he is good. Not that he's not powerful, not that he's not omnipotent, but that his goodness is what brings us to praise him. We fear his might. We are in awe, maybe an awful awe even, of what he can do because of his omnipotence and his sovereignty. But we worship and we praise because of who he is, not what he does. An interesting note from the psalmist. Moving on to verse 7, all worshippers of images are put to shame, who make their boast in worthless idols. Worship him, all you gods. They're put to shame, these worshipers of images. This is just profound. The psalmist is saying, look, your God pales in comparison to mine. As a matter of fact, there is no comparison. No comparison is made. He's just saying that those people who would worship another God are embarrassed. They are put to shame. Now, maybe me saying embarrassed is a little too weak, because put to shame implies that somebody's doing the putting. Okay? There's not like, the embarrassment could just be like a passive thing that happens to someone who worships a different God. You know, like you're over here worshiping your image or your idol, and God's over there melting mountains, and now you're just embarrassed because you're like, oh, well, my God's, you know, a little golden Buddha, or back then it would have been a Baal or an Ashtoreth pole. And it's not really doing anything. It's just sitting there looking pretty, and I'm bowing down before it. And those people are falling on their knees because their God is melting mountains like wax, and the heavens, which are even greater than the mountains, are proclaiming his righteous deeds. So not only is he great and terrifying in his power, that makes me, embarrassed, but also his acts, the things that he does, are proclaimed in the heavens, and my little statue, pretty though it may be, is very quiet and very still. See, that's just passive embarrassment. But no, those who worship these idols, these images, are put to shame. That's more than just, I'm sitting here doing my God thing, and your God is doing his thing over there, and I'm just like, there's no comparison to be made because of how small and little my God is. It's more than that, because that God is actively doing something that is causing me to be ashamed. He is showing how his might and his betterness are to my embarrassment. Can't even imagine. Worship him, all you gods. The end of verse 7. The psalmist has been crying out and exhorting all of humanity to worship this God. And then he just said in the last verse that the heavens proclaim his righteousness. So not only are all of humanity to worship this God, but also all of creation, even the greatest parts of creation, worship this God. And now he's saying even the gods are to worship this God. That's how great this God is. He's over and above not just man, not just creation, but even assumed gods. Now, the psalmist isn't really giving any credence to them, to these gods. He's not setting them up over humanity or creation, because in the phrase before, he refers to them as worthless idols. But he's saying even these must bow before a God that is melting mountains. A God whose virtue is proclaimed by the heavens. Like, this is unimaginable power and goodness that nothing can stand. No one, even a God, cannot stand in the presence of Yahweh. There's no way. There's no way. All you gods, not just those gods and those gods, but not those gods. Literally everything has to fall down before Yahweh because of his greatness in power and in goodness. Verse 8. Zion hears and is glad, and the daughters of Judah rejoice because of your judgments, O Lord. Now, for the first time, the psalmist is speaking directly to God. At first, it was to the earth. Then, there was a specific address